Hank Cisco Show. Don't touch that remote. This show is all about Christmas. And everybody knows that Rudolph is the most famous reindeer of all. Well, the priest today is the most famous priest in this whole area. He's a priest that's been a priest for 45 years. Where? In Bridgeport. And where's Bridgeport? It's in Montgomery County. Where's Montgomery County? In Pennsylvania. Where's Pennsylvania? United States. And the priest, my guest today, is backed by popular demand. And I was so interested about his church in Bridgeport. It's the only ones left. There was 3 or 4, there's Irish, Italian, Polish, and they're all gone. And now we have the priest here that is keeping Bridgeport alive. And without talking anymore, my guest is the most popular priest in the area. And way out there, Father Ryan. All right, you tell him your full name. I can't pronounce it. Right.
Yeah, my name is Father Ronald Popivchak. I'm the priest in Bridgeport, St. Peter and Paul Church, where most of our people are Ukrainian Catholic, Eastern Catholic.
Where you Ukrainian?
Ukrainian Catholic.
That's over in Europe, right? Next to what?
Well, our main headquarters is in Philadelphia, but most of our people have roots in Europe, Eastern Europe and Ukraine, a country over there with about 50 million people, and they've immigrated here down through the generations for the last 100 years.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So now we're getting ready to celebrate Christmas. But I want to mention one thing before Christmas that we're very big on is fasting. We fast very, very strictly in our church before Christmas. In fact, all the great religions have a fast.
Right.
You know, the Jewish people, they have their Rosh Hashanah, they fast, and Yom Kippur. And the Muslims have their Ramadan. Christians have 2 great fasts of 40 days each, one before Easter and one before Christmas.
Fast.
Fast.
When they fast, what they eat fish or what?
Well, what we do,
you got to look at me because that camera's not looking at you. That camera is looking at you.
We abstain from all meat and very often dairy products on the same day. Very strict. No butter, no milk, no eggs.
No spaghetti?
No, well, we could eat spaghetti, but there can't be any meat sauce here.
No meat sauce.
No
Okay,
meat sauce.
all right.
In fact, it's 40
days. A little bit of soul food, too. How about a little soul food? Right?
No, yeah, we eat that. But it's 40 days of fasting, and we start
40 days.
In November, the 14th. It's the feast day of St. Philip.
St. Philip.
St. Philip, 14th of November.
Who's his patron saint for who?
St. Philip in Assisi, not St. Philip. St. Philip Church down in off of Lancaster Pike there, and in 202 there's a lot of St. Philips around.
Okay.
But St. Philip in Jude, I think. But what we do when we fast, we keep away from all meat and dairy products many times, but minimally, at least, all meat we fast from on Friday. But some people fast so strictly they have no meat or dairy products all 40 days.
Wow.
And the children fast from candy. Adults fast from.
Everybody have a little their
like
own
beer
little
and
pet.
whiskey, for example. You know. But it's 40 days, and it's very strict. And I'll just give you a good example. My dad Pete worked in a brewery in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Duquesne beer, right? And so he every Christmas and Easter he fasted 40 days from beer. The trouble was, he worked in a bottling house at Duquesne Brewery on the south side, and he had to wear boots every day because you're walking in 2 feet of beer.
Yeah.
You have broken bottles and broken hoses.
Oh, my God.
Beer everywhere.
Yeah.
And he started at 8 o'clock. 10 o'clock, they blow the whistle. They call it beer time.
Oh.
So everybody's drinking all you get.
But him.
But him. You get 20 minutes to drink beer. 12 o'clock noon is lunch. You have half hour to drink more beer.
Oh.
And it was killing him. And 2 o'clock, more beer time. So it would just kill him, and his nerves were getting shot. So, but what he did, he kept the fast. He never gave in.
No, he held up.
So he held up to Christmas Day. And we went to church all together.
Christmas Eve.
No, Christmas Day.
Oh, Christmas Day.
And we went to church, right? Church lasted 2 hours. And he knew as soon as church was over,
Pow!
And then he'd grab all the kids. There were 4 kids.
Yeah.
He put them in a car, my mother in the front seat, and broke every traffic rule there was to get up, to take his first sip of beer.
Yeah.
But he kept it. He never gave
Wow,
in.
you know.
Broke every stop sign, every stoplight. But
we, the Italians, with Christmas Eve, we have the 7 fishes.
Yeah.
That's the 7
well,
sacraments.
what we do is halfway through the fast, we get a break. One day, it's the feast day of St. Nicholas.
Oh.
Here's a picture of St. Nicholas here.
St. Nicholas.
San Nicolo in Italian. Ukrainians call him Svятий Nikolai.
Is that the patron saint for Ukraine?
That's one of our patrons. And this St.
What, you
Nicholas.
got a couple?
Oh, yeah, we got a lot of them.
Yeah.
St. Peter and Paul, the church, right? Peter and Paul. But St. Nicholas is the original Santa Claus.
Oh,
he lived in the
yeah.
300s in a place called Turkey, modern-day Turkey, and he was so beloved that the people there all voted and demanded and pleaded for him to become a saint. And so a few years later, he was declared a saint by the entire church. And so this St. Nicholas was so beloved in the eastern part of the world, he became the patron saint of every single Ukrainian church.
Oh.
And they passed a law that every church had to have a big icon of him right on their icon screen. Every church in the world. Not a statue, a picture.
A picture.
A picture. Every church in the world, Orthodox, Catholics, Ukrainian, they have to have an icon of St. Nicholas. He was so beloved.
Oh, that's
In
great.
fact, he became the patron saint of children.
Well, that's like Judge Nicholas, but he's Greek.
That's right. Oh, I know him.
He was named after St. Nicholas.
But he became the patron of children, young people, adolescents, young women who want to get married, bankers, sailors, seamen, fishermen,
Get a blessing.
and pawnbrokers. You know how he became the patron saint of pawnbrokers? Legend tells us, he found out there were 3 young girls who wanted to get married but had no dowry. Their father was poor, their mother died, and they were slated to be sent out into the street. The father couldn't keep them anymore. So what he did, St. Nicholas found out, and at nighttime, he came to this house and dropped off 3 bags of gold on the doorstep.
3 bags of gold.
One for each daughter.
Oh, my
So they
God.
could get married.
So they could get married.
So they had a dowry. They
Yeah.
have a dowry to pay for their wedding.
Yeah.
And so he became the patron saint of young people and pawnbrokers because pawnbrokers who dealt in gold and silver sometimes, they adopted him as their patron. And outside the pawnbroker shop, there's 3 balls of gold, golden balls hanging. That's St. Nicholas.
That's, oh
That's
my
St.
God.
Nicholas.
In the hock shop, right?
That's
When
right,
you're
the
hock
Hawks.
shop.
That's right, St. Nicholas. And so,
Well, and then I was head of the juvenile division, Northtown Police, and then I was at the Montgomery County Detectives. And I was head of the juvenile division. So our patron saint would be Nicholas for the juvenile
right,
division.
that's right, all the
so
juveniles.
every juvenile officer, St. Nicholas. You say a
That's
prayer,
right.
St. Nicholas.
And so what we
Good.
do on St. Nicholas Day here somewhat, but in Ukraine, is that's the day they give their gifts, not on Christmas, on St. Nicholas Day.
Well, when's
Because
that?
That's December 6th.
I mean,
December 6th.
before Christmas.
3 weeks before Christmas, December 6th, that's when they exchange their gifts. And it's a beautiful custom because they celebrate his goodness, his kindness, his generosity by sharing gifts with each other.
Oh, but yeah, they do it on the 6th, and then they do it on the 25th, too.
That's right.
They double up.
Double whammy.
Yeah,
Double
I don't know
gifts.
if Bing Crosby would like that. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Just like an Italian guy. Just like the one I used to know. No. Oh, well.
But
Social Security joke.
So we have St. Nicholas, and we get a day off. You can have a little meat and dairy products on St. Nicholas, but then we go back to the fast.
All right.
And then we're fasting real strictly on Christmas Eve. We fast from everything. Many people eat nothing until evening.
Oh, no, that's
when
a
they
weird-
have evening meal, supper time is when we have the 12 dishes. Italians have 10 fishes. What do they have?
Yeah, 7 fish.
7 fish.
We had 3 more. Sorry.
But Ukrainians have 12 fasting dishes.
Oh.
No meat, no dairy products.
What is it? What do you have?
Well, what they have is
Eggs?
no
eggs.
No
That's-
dairy. No dairy. What they have is they have mushrooms. They have little pierogies, the little dumplings, and then they have peas and beans and stuffed cabbage and all kind of vegetables.
Oh, yeah, it's like a pig in a blanket.
Pigs in a blanket, but no meat in there. No dairy. And then they have a soup maybe, and maybe some fruit and some bread. 12 dishes in honor of the 12 apostles.
12 fishes.
Not
Shrimp?
fishes. No fishes, dishes.
Oh.
No fishes. Italians got the fish. We got the dishes. We got the dishes.
Well, we'll have it. We're going to have it 7 fishes at my daughter's house.
I know.
And I'm responsible. I'm going to make this clam with spaghetti, white clam sauce, and I'm going to do the shrimp, and she'll do the scallops, and she wraps bacon around the scallops and cooks in a. So I'm responsible for 3 or 4.
All right. How about eels? You going to bring in the eels?
No. Who has it? It's hard to get.
Yeah, I
we
know
get
that.
flounder, and we'll get crab cake, get schmelts.
Schmelts.
And eel too. Not campagna.
Bacala.
No, yeah, bacala.
Yeah, bacala.
Bacala is actually a codfish.
Codfish, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Calamari.
Calamari.
Yeah.
No, but what we do some special things on this is Christmas Eve. And what we do, we set a table there with all the food on it, right? And one chair is empty. And that empty chair could represent somebody who died that year and is not with us.
Empty chair?
And with a plate and all the cutlery for that person. We remember that person on Christmas Eve.
Oh my God.
And then what we do, we bring in a bale of straw.
In other words, my wife passed away 2 years ago, so I always have a chair.
That's right. Same
there.
thing. On
And my
Christmas Eve.
mom, when we were setting out, my family was 4 boys, 4 girls. My grandfather, we were 12 of us at a table, okay? And my mom always have an empty seat for the visitor, for the poor man.
That's right.
You know.
And what we do, we bring in a bale of straw to remind us of the manger where Jesus was born.
Born in a
manger.
Manger, yeah.
And then we have a candle in a bread. We light the candle up, and the eldest person there goes and greets everybody at the table with a prayer. May God bless you on the day of.
Each one says something or what?
The oldest person there.
Oh, the oldest. I'm 94.
All right, you get the job. So you go all around the table. You
Yeah.
talk John and Mary and Pete and Suzanne and Volodymyr, whatever their names are. You greet them with a kiss. You give them a hug. Thank them for being there, and say a little prayer with them. God bless you.
And they go around the
Go
table.
right around the table, and he'll give them
do
maybe
that.
a bit of bread.
I like
share.
traditions. I like when somebody tells
right.
me that this is the way my mom did it, my grandmom did it. I like it, and if it's good, I'm going to do it.
That's right.
You know.
He goes around. He shares maybe a little bit of blessed bread, just to share. So you're sharing something with the oldest person there. Does that,
Right.
And greets everybody with a hug and a kiss, and thanks them for being there that evening.
Nice.
So, now, once we finish, we have some carols. We sing some songs.
Oh, you sing songs?
We start singing carols right after.
What
Holy
kind of
Supper.
song do you sing?
Oh, we got about 10 or 12.
yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Let me hear one.
All right, I'll sing this one here. Now, so what we do after Christmas Eve, sometimes there's a midnight liturgy. Sometimes, Christmas Day. Years ago it was midnight, but now it's tough on the kids. So we usually have the first mass maybe about 8, 9 in the morning on Christmas Day.
Oh yeah.
And so what we do, we gather on Christmas Day in church, and before Mass, we call that liturgy, we have a service called Great Compline. It's a short.
What is it?
It's called Compline.
What's that mean?
It's the evening service. The evening service.
Oh, okay.
And it's short, about a half hour, but there's a beautiful part in this Compline. And what we do, the priest stands in front of all the people, and we take some verses from Isaiah. These verses from Isaiah, the prophet in the Old Testament. And he prophesied the coming of Jesus. He prophesied. And so what happens, the priest calls out the prophecy, and the people respond with an acclamation calling, because God is with us today.
Yeah.
And the people keep responding. It go like this. Neni sin nam dano jest, ich sar nam dano jest, bo z nami Bog. And the people, z nami Bog.
Oh, that's the chorus.
The whole church. And it's God is with us. And the verses go, there's no more need to be afraid. Ne treba bojati se, ne treba Trepidation. Don't be afraid. Don't have any dread. Why? Because God is with us.
Yeah.
They keep repeating
Yeah,
that.
it's good.
Bo z nami Bog. And they keep z nami Bog.
Yeah.
And they sing that about 10 times. And
Yeah.
the people get louder and louder, and the church is ringing with this acclamation of their faith. No more fear. No more doubt.
Yeah.
No more hesitation. Why? God is with us. God
is with us.
Don't
Yeah.
be afraid. Do your best. God is with us. God came down to earth today.
Yeah.
And so the people keep responding as a responsorial, and it's a powerful. That's what happens before
That's
Mass.
nice. I like that. I like that.
And then when everybody becomes quiet, the priest gets ready for the big Mass, the big divine liturgy. And he gets dressed up in his best white, outfit, best white garments, and he goes and stands in front of the big doors in church, and he calls out the oldest Christmas carol almost on the earth. And it's a carol that all of our people sang for 1,000 years. They've been singing this carol, and it's called Eternal God.
What is it?
It's called God is Eternal.
Oh.
But what it does, in Ukrainian, it's Bog Predvichny. And what this carol does, it sums up in about 4 words what Christmas is all about. Because it says, Eternal God is born. Now, how could that be? That mystery. How could God eternal be born if he's eternal?
Yeah.
And that's the greatest mystery, and that's the mystery we're celebrating on December
right.
25th. Eternal God is born today for us. And that's that oldest carol. The priest sings the first couple notes, and then the whole choir, everybody knows that, so everybody joins in and sings a couple
Yeah,
verses
that's wonderful.
to begin the liturgy. It goes like this. Bog predvichny narodivsha. And the people, Prejшов весь із небес, щоб спасти. The people singing. You got to put,
And
they can't hear anything, it's so loud.
Yeah,
You need
yeah,
earplugs.
yeah, get it there.
And then if the priest does a good job and sings that, everybody's really excited.
Inspired, right,
They're
right.
elated, and they're ready to begin the Mass, the Holy Mass, Divine Liturgy, and they're ready to celebrate Christmas.
That's prepared.
And then,
That's more than
the priest gets
going around shopping, bumping into everybody, getting pain in it this way. I enjoy that.
That's right. And,
Man, when you're 94, you don't know how long you're going to
That's
be
right.
around, so you want to enjoy this thing,
And so,
I don't know.
it's so important to have a lively priest, an active priest who can get
Put
the
some
people fired up. Because, if he believes, the people believe.
Right.
If he celebrates, they'll celebrate. That's why,
Well,
on Christmas, you got to have a lot of energy.
Oh, yeah.
Because this giant,
Yeah,
if you don't have it,
So
the people
we're
won't
going
have
to
it.
do that there. We're going to,
need
the
a
Seven
lot.
Fishes, I think we're going to sing a song. My daughter, we went to the nursing home on Sunday, and we sang Christmas song. My wife used to sing with a band, and she was a professional singer. And so we go over there and we sing for the patients there, on a patient or residents, you want to call them. And we call it Dolores's Chorus, and we had about 10, 15 people come volunteer, they sing, and I had to tell about singing. I was talking to the guy was telling a joke. He says, I don't know. He says every time my wife sings, he says I go out on the porch. I don't want the neighbor to think I'm choking her.
And then what we do next, between Christmas and Epiphany, there's 2 weeks there, 10
Epiphany.
days.
Now, Epiphany's what?
January 6th. What we do, we sing carols the whole time in church, at home. We sing maybe
The local carols, American carols.
We sing American and Ukrainian carols, and we sing for about 10 days during this time. I think a lot of Roman Catholics call that the Three Kings, that feast day.
Oh, okay.
That's January 6th. But we call it Theophany. And that's the time we celebrate, and we eat and drink and dine and wine, and we do a lot of singing. In fact, one of the greatest carols that you hear everywhere today is called Carol of the Bells. Da, 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 right? That was written by a Ukrainian fella named Leontovich. We call that Shchedrik. And that's a song that sings...
It's a carol.
It's a carol. It's called Carol of the Bells. And you see that half the people
Well,
advertising.
we had the little drummer boy.
Yeah. But this is the carol that you see advertised on television. They use it as a background for their advertisements. All the auto companies, they flash their lights. Da 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 da. If you ever heard about that Siberian Express, they play that with an upbeat. That group that comes to Philadelphia every Christmas time, and they play that carol, and it's a pounding carol. You know, it goes. Shedrik, 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 Vochka, da 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 da.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. And that's the Ukrainian carol. They stole it from us. They play it, sell on Madison.
And you're not getting credit for it,
yeah,
right?
we need some credit. But we've seen carols for 2 weeks.
Well, then it goes da 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 da. Yeah.
And you know what the young kids do? They go from house to house. They get piled in a big car. I know when I was a kid, we'd get 6, 8 people in a car, you know, an old sedan, and go house to house.
What do you give? You give it.
Well, we go there and we ask if we can carol and sing a few carols. They let us in, and we sing with the homemakers.
Oh, we do that now. We go out in front, outside the house,
Yeah.
get a group of people to sing
And then
carols.
what they do, of course, they give everybody a treat. Now, if you're old enough, they may give you a shot of whiskey or a beer, or a glass of beer or soda, and they give you some cakes or cookies and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll give a donation to the church, and then we go from house to house, and we tell them, call the next house, we're coming next.
Yeah.
So they call their friends up, and we call that in Ukrainian kolyade, carols, so kolyaniki, carolers. And that's a big tradition. And the Ukrainian Boy Scouts do that, the Girl Scouts, the young people, they go from house to house, neighbors and friends. And it's very important to bring this news of Christmas and Christ's birth to our neighbors and friends, and because Ukrainians are a singing people.
Yeah.
If we
have any famous
we don't talk
singers?
much, we sing. Well, we had, in Ukraine, there are a lot of famous. There was a grand opera house. We had opera singers over there. We had that guy up in Scranton, Paul Pliszka, was a bass in the Metropolitan Opera in New York for years. Paul Pliszka. Pliszka. And we in fact, our Holy Liturgy on Christmas, we don't recite it. We sing the whole thing.
Oh, yeah? Oh, you sing the stuff?
Everything.
Wow.
If you don't sing right, they don't pay you.
Ah.
They don't pay you. Don't tease it. We don't. If they figure recitation is for the street and for your buddies.
Yeah,
but if you're singing, you mean it.
I mean, if you're fasting and you don't eat, how are you going to sing?
Well, on
I don't know
Christmas Eve,
about that.
Christmas Eve, we eat everything.
I want to get some pasta in there. Get some macaroni, ravioli,
Pasta fazool.
pasta fazool, anything else. Let me tell you about my patron saint. Everybody has a patron saint. You know, when I was a boxer, before a fight in the corner, waiting for the bell, you got 5,000, 6,000 people there. You're in a strange town. Everybody's kill that guy. Beat the. And then I fought down in Rome, Georgia.
Oh my.
And they said, in this corner, Hank Cisco from Norristown, Pennsylvania. Kill that Yankee. I mean, I didn't do nothing, And then the other guy was from Atlanta, Georgia, John Campbell. Oh, So
You need a saint.
I got in the corner before the fight. I blessed myself. Not that I can beat the guy. I blessed myself to give me the strength and then give me the opportunity to do my best, because I don't want to say prayers to beat the guy because he might know better prayers than me.
Yeah,
Beat me up.
Maybe
But-
he gave more money in collection basket last week than you. Maybe you was holding back a little bit on the Lord.
But my patron saint was Saint Anthony and Saint Joseph. Now, Saint Joseph is a patron saint from Sicily, okay? Now, Sicily is an island, and there was no rain. There was nobody was eating.
Drought.
People were starving. And the only thing that would grow with no rain was the fava bean. So the people prayed to Saint Anthony or Saint Joseph, please make it rain. If you make it rain, we will feed the poor. We'll have a big party. On March the 19th, it rained, and everybody grinned. So the fava bean became a lucky bean. And the lucky bean, here's a fava bean. And now they call this the lucky bean. And all Italians that remember this, that if you carry this lucky bean in your pocket, you will never be hungry and you'll never be broke. And I keep one in my pocket, and I'm going to see that everybody gets one later,
There you
okay?
go. Well, how'd you do in that fight? Did you survive or what?
Oh, I survived, yeah, sure. Sure. I thought, make me think right, because sometimes, just like when you go to give a speech, you freeze.
Yeah.
So give me the opportunity to do my best. And I know I can beat the guy.
You knocked him out?
No, I want a decision. You know,
That's good. That's
I
good.
whipped him.
TKO.
You know, he was a flash fighter. The bell rang. I go out there, and he's going around. He's moving. He didn't do anything. The last 30 seconds, he goes. So when I come back, my manager says, he's a flash fighter. He'll only fight the last 30 seconds of the fight. So what you do, stay on him the first beginning of the fight, and then afterwards, grab and hold him. I won the fight.
There you go.
Yeah, it was an
There
easy
you go.
fight. Little techniques, you know.
Another thing we do, you know, you talk about Christmas, we're big on visiting people. We go to every relative's home.
Oh, yeah. My sister, you came to she lives in Swedesburg.
Oh, yeah.
And they come here and on Easter, too.
Yeah, exactly.
They bless the lamb or something.
Yeah, they bless the food there. But what we do, we go to all of our relatives and neighbors' house and share food. On Christmas Day is a big dinner, you know. On Christmas Day, we got turkey, we got ham, we got all meat and dairy products on Christmas Day. And so we share this. We take some with us and go to maybe a poor person's house, maybe a person who's a widower, and we share what we have on Christmas Day. And we go from house to house and share everything we have. And the other thing that we do is that there's a special greeting that we use only on Christmas. And we call out this greeting.
A greeting.
A greeting. And the greeting is, Christ is born.
Right.
And if this person is a Christian and hears this greeting, he'll respond, then give him glory. Dona glorio. Give him glory.
Give him glory.
Give him glory. Christ is born. And that's the Ukrainians use this all over the world. If I see somebody in the Acme supermarket or somebody on a bus and I hear a Ukrainian speaker, I'll call out this greeting. And you see their face open wide because they know that I'm a friend, I'm somebody they can trust, and somebody who might help them or whatever they need. And so this greeting in Ukrainian is Christos Rождається. And the response is Slavite Jeho, give him glory. And it's the only time of the year we say this greeting for 2 weeks to everybody we meet in church, on the street, in the shopping, any of our friends, relatives, parishioners, and they know that we have the faith and we trust in Christ.
Gives you strength, right?
And when you hear somebody respond, you know you have a friend.
Oh, yeah.
You have a fellow Christian, a fellow Ukrainian, a fellow believer. If you need some help or something, whatever, when you hear that response, you know there's somebody there that is your brother and sister in the Lord.
It's thinking about it. You know,
that's right.
Italians have another tradition that if you eat macaroni on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, you have luck the rest of the year.
Does that work or what?
Oh, yeah, got to eat macaroni on New Year's Eve.
And you buy a lottery ticket the next day.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's an old tradition, you know. Now, all right, now, let's get back to you.
Yeah.
You were born in Pittsburgh.
Uh-huh.
How did you learn the language and be able to? Where'd you go to school to learn the language?
I was the
You're American Italian. Ukrainian.
I was the oldest of 4 children. And my father...
Wait, how many?
4. There were 4 of us. I was the eldest. So the priest told my dad, he said, Pete, how much it cost you to feed that boy? Because I was strong. I was, I got tall. And Pete said, well, pretty much, a lot of money. And he says, if we send him to the seminary, it's only $40 a month.
Wow.
So my dad said, really? So my dad said, look, I'll put up 20. And he told the priest, you put up the other 20, and we'll send Ronnie away to the seminary.
In Pittsburgh, you have a seminary?
No, our seminary was in Connecticut.
Oh.
So they made a deal.
How old were you?
I was only 13 and a half.
Oh, yeah.
13
Well,
and a
to
half.
go into seminary, they get right after high school.
But
right?
not now it is. But
Now.
I was young. I went to the prep
They
school.
get 13, you go into the seminary?
Yeah. Years ago, you went to prep school first.
Oh, yeah.
And so they put me on an airplane. I was a kid. I never on an airplane. And we flew to New York City. Then we got a train to Stamford, Connecticut. Right north of New York is a big city called Stamford.
Stanford, yeah.
Stamford. And that's when
Good basketball team.
that's when I started my seminary life. And then the priest would send us tickets every year on Christmas, airplane tickets. And man, I said, this is a good deal. I'd go to New York City, I'd see all the glitter and the celebration.
Radio City Music Hall.
That's right, and I'd get on a plane and I'm on like a big time, necktie. years ago when you were on a plane, you had a suit and tie.
Oh, yeah, now.
You don't walk around with jeans.
Yeah.
And the stewardess would come up and give you they call you sir, can I give you a little coffee or tea, you know? I felt like I said, this is a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
I feel like a
good.
big shot here.
So you
so
you became a priest.
So I went there for
how many years you had to stay in the seminary?
I stayed 8 years, 4 years of prep school, 4 years of college. I got a degree in philosophy. And then they sent me to the university because I like to study. And I went to the university in Washington, D.C. called Catholic University.
Oh, yeah.
CUA. And I studied there, and finally I got another degree, and finally I studied for a doctorate, and I became a doctor there, doctor of theology at Catholic University.
And all this experience, you wrote a book.
That's right.
Here's a book.
And it's...
He wrote a book, right? I got it
right.
wrapping up, and so we got it there. Tell me about this book. We got about 35 seconds, a minute or two.
I wrote this book to help the bishops and the priests and the lay people. I hope many of you are listening today, watching, to help you so you can understand where the church is today with all of its problems. The church has problems today. And I address all these problems that I could think of because I've been a priest 45 years in Bridgeport and 50 years in total, 5 years in the city.
Right.
And so I put this book together to show the bishops and the priests and the lay people out there, based on my experience for the last 50 years, how we can help the church out of all these problems. There's a shortage of priests. There's a shortage of money. Dioceses are declaring bankruptcy. There's a shortage of trust in the church with all the legal problems they're having with certain people. There's a shortage of nuns. There aren't many nuns. And I address all these problems and try to give ideas that I've gleaned.
Come up with that, yeah.
the
Somebody
last
better
50
start
years.
listening, right?
And I think if they want to get yourself a Christmas present and buy
Where can I
somebody a
get one
copy,
of them? Where am I going to get them?
all you got to do is beam up Amazon. Everybody knows Amazon, right?
Right.
Everybody knows Amazon. Amazon Prime. You can get this overnight. It's cost you about $9, and you will thank the Lord that you got a copy of this
cheap,
because
right.
you'll get yourself a lot of ideas and buy your priest a copy and buy your bishop a copy and let them read and learn because it took me 50 years to gather this information.
We got to cut.
All right.
Good. We just got a call from Washington. We got to cut it there.
We got to cut it here.
And you got to get that plane, right, to come back to Bridgeport.
I hear you. You need a boat across the river.
All right, Father Ron, the most popular priest in the area. And I want to thank everybody for our Merry Christmas. Thank you, and God bless each and every one. Pa, doodly boop, pa.